Welcome to the Bureau. I'm Eivor of Alamut, and today we'll be checking out some books to help new and even old fans of Assassin's Creed who want to get into the lore of the series and aren't really sure where to start. So sit back, relax, and let's jump into the Animus. You're a new fan to the Assassin's Creed series and want to get into the lore of the series. Or perhaps you're just an older fan who needs a refresher. Or you're a fan that just needs help keeping the lore and/or story straight. Not everyone is a useless vault of Assassin's Creed knowledge like me, I get it. So here are some books I recommend that give a good general overview of the series. Let's start with a more basic option. Assassin's Creed: The Essential Guide I feel is a bit of an obvious choice, but still a good book full of information. The only downside to The Essential Guide is that it stopped updating with Odyssey, but still I highly recommend the book as it draws its information not only from the mainline games, but from comics and spin-offs, and just all sorts of extra material that will really give you an in-depth and easy-to-access compilation of the lore of the series. There is an easy-to-read timeline for all the major events of the series, starting from Unknown Year with the Isu Force Evolving Humankind, up until 2018 with the modern day of Odyssey. The book includes information on the Assassins, including dedicated pages to each main protagonist. Same with the Templars, including dedicated pages to each main antagonist. Well, that's to be expected though. There's also pages talking about all-known Isu, and for those who are in fact new to the series, the Isu are also known as precursors or the first Civ, and are the ancient race of humanoids that once ruled the world. Basically. There's more to it than that, but this is a video about books. To get back to the book, there are pages in it that are dedicated to all-known Isu, including talking about the Toba catastrophe. There are pages filled with all-known pieces of Eden, going over more than just the apples of Eden, though there is also a helpful section with every apple, giving a brief history of each one, who owned it, and current statuses. There's sections all about the modern day, including a timeline of animuses? Animi? What's the plural of animus?
What do you think, Lucy? Lucy?
There's a timeline of how the Animus machines came to be and the ones we know. Plus, there's even an in-depth information about how the Animus machines function. There's so much information on the modern day in this book that goes beyond listing all known modern day characters. Though they do go over all modern day characters in detail, which is cool. There's information about the different Abstergo products and what the Templars are using Abstergo for. There is information about things like Sigma Team and Erudo. The guide goes through all the different time periods featured and has them in a timeline order. There's even a section in this book just talking about the different types of ships that have been featured in the series. I would highly recommend this book if you're someone who wants to really get deep into the lore like I have. It's like having a physical copy of the Assassin's Creed wiki. It's such a highly detailed book that's also just easily laid out and easy to read. Definitely more so for the hardcore Assassin's Creed fans. But like I said prior, the only downside is that it hasn't been updated since Odyssey. But if you're interested in the book, it's a big recommendation from me. If you're looking for a simplified version of the Essential Guide, then the Assassin's Creed Infographics book is for you. This book focuses mostly on the mainline games. There's some information from things like comics, but because of the major focus on the mainline games, if you're looking to keep track of the lore or story of just the games, then this is going to be the book for you. I'd argue that the Infographics Guide is even easier to read than the Essential Guide, and just like the Essential Guide, the Infographics Guide has a page showing you which apple of Eden belonged to who. There's a page talking about the pieces of Eden, where on this page the guide mentions how the Ankh is most likely a hoax. I love that so much. Maybe one day I'll explain that further, but for now just know the Ankh was a supposed piece of Eden from a comic I personally didn't care for, so I love how the canon now is that the Ankh is a hoax made up by the assassins to trick the Templars. There's even a timeline for just Ezio's Apple of Eden. His is the one that has changed the most hands through history. The book also has smaller timelines for the assassins and Templars respectively, hitting at major points that led to the modern day renditions of each order. There's a section for Abstergo, talking about the different programs. There's of course a helpful section on all the different Animus machines and pages for all known subjects under Abstergo's Animus project. There's even a section for Desmond's family tree in case that was tricky for you to follow. Pages for hidden blades, and a page breaking down the math for doing a leap of faith. And also each Assassin's Creed protagonist has their own personal timeline on their profile page. Also, if you're a cosplayer like me, you might find the chart of protagonist scars helpful. I would say the Infographics book is the simplified younger sibling to the Essential Guide. It's definitely in the same vein as the Essential Guide, but with the focus being mainly on the mainline titles, I think it's very helpful for newer fans or a returning fan that wants a refresher. It's definitely the less intimidating book. It's perfectly concise. The only downside to the book is that it only goes to Origins, but that's still a lot of information on the series, and again, I wouldn't say the downside is a big deal if the book looks interesting to you. It's still a cool book to have, in my opinion. I love this book. I mean, I love all these books, but in my opinion, the Atlas is one of the more unique books in my collection. Like what the cover of the book says, the Atlas is full of maps, battlegrounds, and architecture that went into the series. There's also a lot of beautiful concept art in this book, and I am a big concept art fan, so that's always a big plus for me. This is more of a behind-the-scenes book, showing the process and thoughts that go behind making the worlds we find ourselves playing in, which to me is fascinating. I'd say this may be more interesting to the Assassin's Creed fan that is more into the history side of the series, though there are still sections that cover the modern day and even different Isu sites. I find the concepts behind the Isu stuff always so interesting. Their aesthetic to me has always been something that felt beyond time, in a sense. While the book is mostly visual, the text does give concise information about the location shown. The Atlas does break down the settings into more precise areas too, like with Egypt the Atlas goes over Cyrene, the Siwa Oasis, etc. So there are precise locations from the games. It's not just going over vague Italy or something like that. One of my favorite things about the Atlas is actually the interviews with Maxime Durand, historian and director of content at Ubisoft Montreal, and Raphael Lacoste, artistic brand director at Ubisoft Montreal. These interviews alone are so worth it to me personally because they give valuable insight to the Assassin's Creed series and how they handle the historical aspects. I personally find it very interesting, and I think the information they share should be more well known to Assassin's Creed fans. Again, the only downside is that the book only goes up to Odyssey, but I wouldn't let that stop you if you do want to get your hands on this book. I just wish these books were kept updated. Last on my list is The Making of Assassin's Creed, aka the 15th anniversary book. This one is definitely more behind the scenes information about the series. So if you're interested in learning about how they decide settings or the thought process behind making Assassin's Creed games, etc., the 15th anniversary book is definitely for you. I mean, I personally find this book very, very useful. I use it as a source when making my deep dive videos about each game, except for my Shadows video. After all, it's the 15th anniversary, so the book goes up to Mirage, though the Mirage section is brief since the book was released before the game was out. In the Mirage section, you can read all about the would-be DLC that helped inspire the name of my channel. I am beyond happy we got Mirage though. Clearly. I feel like this is going to be the shortest section when trying to describe this book because the title says it all. It's about the making of the Assassin's Creed series. Again, my brief summary isn't because the book lacks information. Not at all. I'd argue the book is the exact opposite. It has a ton of behind-the-scenes information, and it is the most up-to-date book on this list. Hopefully, you found this short list of books helpful on your Assassin's Creed journey. I feel like each book brings something unique to the table, so whether you're looking for deep lore, or just a way to keep the timelines in order, or if you're more interested in behind-the-scenes information, there's a book for you. Of course, this is just my recommendation on a starting point. If you see an Assassin's Creed book that looks interesting to you, by all means, go for it. I just know finding where to start with a long-running series can be intimidating, but if you choose to pick up any of these books, I hope it helps in some capacity. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed your stay at the Bureau, and I hope I'll see you around for the next one. Until then, safety and peace.